And why don't I see us? It's Pastor Norman. Hey, Pastor Norman. Can you hear us, Pastor Norman?
I sure can.
I
Oh,
can't hear you.
You can't hear
how
me.
are you?
Uh,
How are you? I'm hearing that.
I'm
I'm
doing
getting an
great.
echo.
Huh?
I'm getting an echo on my end.
Echo. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's on my side or your side or what, but we gotta clear it up. Clear it up. Let's see. Let me say something. I don't hear it now. Say something, Pastor Norman.
Well, good evening to everyone.
I'm glad you're here. Hope everything's going well.
Going wonderful. Going wonderful. Staying busy. Had to get some rest today.
Well, that's good. You always need
Yeah.
a little rest. Rest.
I ended up preaching 3 services on Sunday.
Oh, wow. You were to guest speaker somewhere?
Yes. 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 At 4 o'clock, I was a ram in the bush for Apostle Vandross.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right.
He's dealing with a situation with his body, and so he asked me to minister for him.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you were able to do it.
Well, I got a situation with mine.
Yeah.
You ain't come be a minister for me.
You ain't
I'm
asked
glad
me.
you were able to do
You have not because you asked not.
that. So, what did you talk about?
Uh, and which service?
Either one doesn't matter.
Oh
Either one.
well, well, at our afternoon service, well, actually started by way of virtual that morning at 9 a.m. I was talking about the glory of God, and I was talking
Hmm.
about the difference between present and presence. And
Okay.
so that's what we talked about on Sunday afternoon, and then pretty much on that evening at 4 o'clock, um, the young man who is the pastor, because it was their holy convocation. He's the pastor of the first church that his dad established, and then this other church he's placed another pastor over, and he was presiding, and pretty much like we say in the church, the Lord was using him. And so I just kept telling him to preach because pretty much he was preaching and sharing what I was getting ready to preach on. And so
Well,
I was
that's
like, go
good.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. And I mean, you could tell it was all on them and stuff. And then all of a sudden they just came to a abrupt halt and decided to take up the offering. I was like, no, 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 no. And so pretty much I was teasing Apostle Evangelist. I said, it don't make no sense for me to get up and come and preach behind that. That would be me putting my
Yeah, I know.
ego on display. And
Yeah, it
so,
would.
pretty much I had him come out because you would have changed his shirt. I had him come out and I explained what just happened and how we should have went about with it because the Lord was using him.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we just came up, stopped because of our program, rather than being able to identify the active presence of the Father in the
Yeah.
house. And if we
Yeah.
had just embraced it, a lot of people would have really been blessed, and there would have been a matter because he had already started praying for 2 individuals in the midst of him presiding. And
Wow.
so yeah,
Wow. Where
yeah.
was this young man from?
He's from right here, area code Hugie, which is maybe
I heard
30,
that.
30, 40 minutes away from me.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
never heard of Hugie either.
Mm.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
Hugie, South Carolina. Y'all never heard of Hugie, South Carolina?
Never heard of Hugie.
Hugie. And it's
Hugie.
funny because you would think it's pronounced Huger because it's spelled Hugher, but the R is silent.
That's odd. That is odd.
Yeah.
But anyhow, let me see who's here. It's my sister and my brother. My voice is leaving. I don't know why, but it is.
All that preaching y'all did Sunday.
Well, the lightning struck, didn't it?
Hey, Kathy, how are you? Hey, Dee Dee, how you doing, sweetie pie? And then there's Diane. I'm glad you're here today. And then the Phyllis
Oh,
is
that's my sister.
good to have you. John Grease is in the house. And I'm hearing an echo again. There's my sister. She says she's hearing and seeing as well. I hope you guys don't hear an echo. I did, but maybe it'll go away. Hopefully it'll go away. Let me see if they've changed so much stuff on StreamYard
Mm-hmm.
till it's hard to determine what's going on. They even changed the way the little icons look. So you're like, okay, how am I changing this? Am I changing it right? And it's just always something. They always try. They call themselves upgrading, but then it ends up making it harder because you have to relearn.
Mm-hmm. They're doing that with Zoom as well.
Yeah, and on Facebook did it too, because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get my video edited on Sunday. It was weird. I couldn't even do anything with it. So anyway, we're here, live and in color. Glad you guys are here with us. You got something good to talk about tonight, Mr. Sawyer? You don't have anything good to talk about?
No.
Really? You'll wait till we get to the end and then you'll start talking. Won't it, Pastor Norman?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. See, you try to let him initiate the move. I say
It
that
never works. It never works. It never works. What did we talk about Sunday? I can't even remember. You talking about us preaching. I can't remember what we talked about on Sunday. What was it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Let me think. Yeah, I remember talking about how that I had to make a choice. And yeah, but I can't remember all the stuff we said. Isn't that something? It was hot off the press. It was hot off the press. I'm gonna do this. Let's see if I can get this thing to work right. This is the place that we live on. This is the Earth planet. I want to ask a question. Depending on where you land on this Earth planet, this globe, where you're standing, where you are right now, which way is up?
That's a good question.
Which way is up? Because if you look at this globe, there's no east, no west, no north, no south, because everything around it is just space. So there's no up and down. And then I wanted to show something else. Okay, if we are standing on the bottom, if you call it the bottom, I go up, I'm going the opposite direction and I'm going that's at the top. So where is up? We talk about heaven being up, God being up there, man upstairs. Where is up?
There is no such.
There is no such thing. So if and all I'm doing is I'm bringing it into perspective, because we, in our human perception, think that there is an up, but the person that's on the opposite side of this globe is going in a whole different direction when they go up.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Gleason used to tell his wife, to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
Yeah, to the moon. To the moon.
Yeah, I remember that.
To the moon. Now, this globe that we're on has a magnetic field, and it's what keeps everything from hitting us or us running into anything else. It keeps the planets all in their places. So it's a magnetic
With
field.
sunshiny faces.
Yeah, and we were talking about this the other day, how that gravity, and someone, you were talking about somebody being really, really heavy, feeling really, really heavy. But as you age, it's not that it's like it takes more of your strength to push against the gravitational pull. This whole planet is a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a magnet.
That's good.
And so, yeah. So, and this is the gravitational field. So we're stuck to this earth as physical bodies, and that's what keeps us from flying off into space. But there's no no thing around us. And then there's the solar system that we're revolving around, this one solar system. We're revolving around this thing, and the sun is what we're all revolving around. So I think about when Joshua said, he prayed and the sun stood still. The sun isn't moving. The sun isn't moving. We're moving. We're revolving around the sun. And then we think about when we have sunrise and sunset, it isn't a sun going up and a sun going down. It's simply this globe that we're on turning, facing the sun, and we call that sunrise. It moves away, it turns in the opposite, turns away from the sun, and we call that night. We have morning when we face the sun, night when we're turning away from the sun. We have all these perceptions. This is how close we are to that sun. And that thing is huge. And it's nothing but a ball of fire. There must be some kind of divine intelligence. There has to be some kind of divine intelligence that has put all of this in motion. There is no way that these planets would remain in their spots. Who came up with the magnetic field? Who came up with the solar system? Who came? There is a divine intelligence, and it's bigger than being a person, a big man in the sky, because the sky, as we can see, is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere. It is not just up, because up is everywhere. So when we think about it in that regard, where is God? Where is heaven? Where is God? Where is heaven? How can we even be on this planet? And we're one of the smallest.
When it said Jesus went up, or did he go up or go out or go under?
Where? Yeah, from where? From what point?
Now, you just mentioned perception, and I'm looking at the picture, and that looks like a man with a beard looking at.
It does. It does.
What are you talking about?
Right here in the picture.
The picture reminds you of a man with a beard. Yeah, it does. And it's actually our galaxy, our own galaxy. And I got to get my paper. Hold on a minute, because I want to read something to you. Hold on a minute. I started not to do this, but I think I want to do it. So let me just do this. Okay. There is one solar system, which is our solar system, centered around our sun. That's just one. And then it says, however, there are many other star systems known as planetary systems in the universe with our galaxy, which is the Milky Way. So what you're seeing there is the Milky Way. Okay? And it says, and it contains hundreds of billions of galaxies. Mm-hmm. NASA estimates that there are 3,916 confirmed solar systems within this Milky Way. All right. And the solar system refers to the system of planets, moons, asteroids, and other objects that orbit our sun. Okay. These are broader terms encompassing any star with objects orbiting it. So this is our Milky Way. And then he says here that our galaxy alone is estimated to contain between 100 and 400 billion stars. And a significant portion of these stars are believed to have their own planetary systems. As of April 17, 2025, there are 5,616 confirmed exoplanets in 4,174 planetary systems. And then it says the observable universe contains an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. This is just one. They estimate 2 trillion, and that's just an estimate. They don't really know because they can't reach them all.
Mm-hmm.
While we can't know the exact number of planetary systems in the universe, current estimates suggest that there are a vast number of them beyond our solar system. So I brought all that up to say this. How in the ham sandwich, as you would say, can we even say or think that we know enough about God, that we know enough about life in this whole universe? But we can say this, that this whole system was set up by a divine intelligence. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way this would have been haphazardly just come into being. So I said that to say this, that it behooves us to not take on the role of expert.
Mm-hmm. It's good, Ma. It's good.
Which tells me that the Bible and the way it's been taught in churches has been taught in a mystical era.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is our desire to have certainty.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
in this situation that we're in, there is no way to have certainty. There is absolutely no way to have certainty. And I like the fact of seeing how far we are from the sun.
That's
We're very close to the sun.
But if the earth is moving and turning, that means Jesus was born upside down.
Well, not well, it would appear upside down to
Yeah.
us. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
on the
Well,
opposite
that's
side,
it appears to be
side of the globe.
out, but it's
Yes.
upside down for the way the earth is turning.
So what I'm questioning is our perceptions, out from our perspective, how things are relative to us. It's only relative to us based on what we can see and feel and determine from our own assessment.
That means when a satellite take off, it may take off down, make to the right or to the left or to the top.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then if you don't wait too long, it'll be done turned from top to bottom.
Now the thing is, this planet and all the other planets, not only is it spinning, going around like this in order for you to face the sun and then turn away, it is revolving around the sun.
That's right.
And that means it takes a 24-hour period for it to just spin.
Mm-hmm.
And the seasons come from when it revolves around the sun.
I have to ask the question, what's holding it up in the air?
Exactly, because there is nothing there.
No strings attached.
There's nothing there.
So now y'all shouldn't start off like this and got me so excited.
Right. Go ahead.
Because this is something that I study a lot about, dealing with the solar system, all the stuff. And then if I say this, Dad gonna really like this, and I'm like, how you gonna start showing that when I just started watching the Star Trek series, the New Worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Just started watching that, but I'm so glad, and this is unusual because in religious circles they probably would not present anything like this. And the reason why I'm highlighting that is because what it shows is that everything actually is connected. The religious beliefs, or what we've studied in the area of that, along with science, other different what's the other one I'm talking about? Science, physics. There you go, physics. That's what I'm thinking of, physics.
Mm-hmm.
All these different things actually come together as a puzzle of one.
Yes.
And so the key thing that you brought out was that because of all of this and how God orchestrated this whole thing, it is amazing. It is a phenomenon that the earth can be at exact distance from the sun, not to burn up and destroy, and remain there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In constant motion, going around and spinning on its axis as well. And when people discover these things, they think themselves to become an expert in a certain field, which creates separation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When if they can take all their different discoveries, all their different once again experiences, and just bring it all to the table, we would actually see the greatness of our Father.
Yes. And my reason for showing it again is to show how finite our minds are, and that it is impossible for us to really grasp the vastness of what God is. And just looking at the globe itself in the midst of space, there's nothing around it. So when I say where is up, there is no up. The up is everywhere. So I could take the leap and say, if God is, and I believe he is, as divine intelligence that put all of this in place, we must be inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because mankind has not even discovered it near the expanse of what is out there. There's no end to it. And so how can we even dare think that there is a specific location that God inhabits when there is no end to what's out there?
Exactly.
So we must be, as Acts said, in him we live, move, and have our being. All of this is inside the mind of God.
Exactly. Yes.
It's all inside the mind of God.
Exactly.
So there is no way, like you said, you can't get away from God. You can't run from God because you're inside of God.
Mm-hmm.
You're inside. And all of these different systems that have been put in place by divine intelligence, which is God, universal intelligence, you can call it that, they affect us. The gravitational pull, as a matter of fact, as you get older, your body has trouble pulling against the gravitational pull. And that's what makes people go down and bend over, because the gravitational pull is still as strong, but your muscles and your body is not strong enough to pull against it.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things affect our physical body. We have made God too human.
Mm-hmm.
And too finite.
Mm-hmm.
So in light of that,
so that could be the reason why a lot of older people have trouble getting out of their chair.
it is.
It's putting them back down in the seat.
It is. It is.
Exactly. Where they can get up out of it, they take a crowbar and pry them up.
Because this globe is a magnet. It's
Exactly.
a magnet.
Yeah, take a piece of wood and pry them up there and break the glue.
It's a magnet.
And so that brings up the question that I sometimes, when I'm doing workshops and teaching on different things like this, I would throw out there, because again, we preach about it all the time. So with all of this information, what is the actual location of heaven? Better than that, what is heaven really?
Whoa.
And so the reason why I bring this up,
messed it up now,
because if the narrative of the scriptures are true concerning Enoch, Enoch never died. So if heaven is a spirit, it's in a spiritual dimension, how is his physical body able to maintain or exist in that dimension? If the story is true concerning Elijah, who didn't see death as well, he was caught up with a fiery chariot. Mm-hmm. So what is heaven really?
And what if, this is just a what if, what if what we're looking at as space and all of this that's inhabiting space, what if this is spirit?
Now, that tells me.
What if we're already in spirit? What if?
They told us that Columbus thought the world was flat. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, that's old saying we said, who in the world would ever thought what Columbus could do if Queen Isabella had dropped the underwear in 1492? But she didn't know what she dropped, and then she didn't know what she doing him, trying to make that man think the world was flat and he gonna fall off the other end. And she gave him some sugar and messed his mind up. He come back saying he done discovered something. He ain't discovered nothing.
That's true.
He discovered how powerful she was with her dooba dooba. Messed him up. Then he come back talking about, I just found America. How can he find something that somebody's already owned?
Exactly. So he didn't discover nothing.
Ha,
Exactly.
ha,
Exactly.
you say that. Don't let him hear you. He'll have to come back. He didn't discover nothing. What you do?
I'm just listening to you. Go ahead. I don't know where you're going, but go ahead.
But
Hey,
you
I
understand.
would say about that'd be messy.
Yeah, I know.
Coleman couldn't do all that, not without some booster.
Yeah.
He fell for the lie. And then too, who could discover America when African guys was already on the boat? Row your boat gently down the stream. Merle had a baby there, daughter and a dream. My buddy here.
Lord have mercy.
But Ma, you mentioned something about
And my baby girl.
about space and how what's out there. But let's remember, we haven't fully discovered everything concerning the earth itself, the depths of the sea. You
That's
see what
right.
I'm saying? There's
There's still unexplored systems right here on this earth.
yes.
So we know that divine intelligence had to have placed all of this here, and it's not outside of God. That's my point. None of this is outside of God.
That's right.
All of this is inside. This what we're seeing in this picture of the globe and space, and what we're seeing in one another, what we're seeing in these rooms, in this house, in these streets, and cars, and whatever. This is inside the mind of God.
That tells me that God is inside and out, omnipotent, omnipresent.
All of this is residing in the mind of God. This is the mind of God that we're seeing.
Because if God went from one side of the earth to the other, he's going to find himself over there, and he run down to the bottom, he's going to find himself there. Then he go inside the earth, he's going to find himself there. So it's no escape from God.
None.
All that we see, all that we have experienced, all that we hear and experience with our five senses is God. We are inside the mind of God. And that is an awesome thing to accept, that we're actually inside of the mind of God.
And people
witnessing God's thoughts, God's imaginations.
Which tells me that the law of the spirit of life is something totally different than what we've been taught in the book and out of the book. If you never taught anything correct, there's no such thing as being taught correctly or incorrectly.
Right. But in divine intelligence would even be able to put all of this in place?
Oh, go ahead, Ma. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the mind of God is what we're witnessing.
And so with that in mind, I'm just going to bring up something else. Dad and I talk about this all the time, along with some others who are not afraid to be quote unquote spiritual leaders that talk on a topic. So what makes us think that we're the only life?
Thank you.
Only planet that got life on it. When we're talking about the vastness of something that we have not fully discovered or explored.
Exactly.
Have not had achieved that level of intelligence to reach that far. And we're going to say we're the only life there is. I'm sorry, because understanding the divinity and the awesomeness of our Father, there is no way we could be the only life form in the whole. No, I can't even say in the whole entire universe. How can we be the only life form that the Father has imagined in his own mind?
Because this is just one Milky Way, one galaxy, one solar system. There are billions. It's that trillions. So there is. Why would God stop just here?
Exactly.
That's like a brown cow giving white milk.
So that's a very narrow view
Dad,
of God, to think that
you've been drinking
all that God ever wanted to create was on this earth. That is a very narrow view.
What you say, Pastor?
I was asking, what was you drinking before you got on the broadcast? Because he is extremely jolly.
He wants to play. We'll let you play. Go ahead and play.
Well, I can't say nothing but what you saying.
Go ahead and play.
The cow must have gave the milk upside down. So that's the reason why we have upside down cakes.
Okay.
Because you could be cooking up your stove may be up in the air and you upside down, and gravity make you think you're flat. You ain't flat. You're just moving and don't even know it. Okay. It's amazing that stuff don't spill out the bowl. But what holds it in the bowl? Gravity. I mean, if you look at this thing, it is not like what the mind gives off that we are in. It's something totally opposite.
Right. Our minds have given us a very narrow view of what God is like. Yes.
So when I was getting whippings when I was little, there's a possibility my mom was whipping my butt upside down.
So
tearing me up, boy.
What you just said, Mom, that means for one to, and we know it's a journey, everybody's own journey and process, but to achieve a certain level of enlightenment, one has to have an open mind to new information, anything that someone else present. And I mean, Dad, you said it earlier about there's no right, no wrong in the mind of God and so forth. And so again, that our perceptions are the way they are because many of us suffer from having small minds.
Yes.
So which way do we get to heaven or hell?
Right. Is there a way?
Is there a certain path?
There's no physical way.
But all the highways on the planet is turning and moving upside down. And if you get away from it and look at it like you saw in that picture she showed, you ought to be traveling in another direction, not even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the reason why when you're speeding, driving fast in your car, telling you could probably sit still and let the wheels turn and you just sit in one spot. I remember when I took 3 steps on the other side in the sky, the highway in the sky, I took 3 steps and never moved from the place I was standing and got to the end of the road and it was 1,000 miles. And I had never moved from the spot I was standing in.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was moving for me. Something ain't right. It's a suspicion. It's a suspicion. It's a crook in the house somewhere. Yes, it is. Making us think this thing is standing still. You're taking a shower. You don't run all your water out in space.
So if and I say if because this is one of those kinds of talk where you have to say what if because some people may not see it the way you see it, may not be able to see it.
When you've been in this thing long enough, you don't think like that until you start investigating it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's amazing how you make a chocolate cake and the icing stay on the cake. It's amazing. It's amazing because it looks like it drip off.
A person have to be willing to Mom, you even said it that was the last week about being open to learning. A statement we're forever learning. And that's what it is. People have to be willing again to continue to allow themselves to be educated with many different things, anything that's presented to investigate. And I do this constantly, and that's how we come to the place where we are. I'm always researching something. Always, a thought come to my mind. I'm immediately, well, okay, where did that go? What did that mean? Why was that said? All of that, and I want to have the full understanding of what just crossed my mind.
And like you said, Pastor Norman, why out of all of the galaxies that exist, trillions in fact, that exist, that are just like our solar system, there are others just like ours, or maybe differ in certain ways, but they're similar to ours, or where life can inhabit. Why would God stop only with the earth? And then if you think about it in that regard, why would we think here on this earth that we got all of the facts about God?
We don't.
There's no way we could have all of the facts about God.
That's it.
Now we can have our own experiences.
So that tells me right there, there's no such thing really as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, January, February, March.
No, it's not. That's just the earth turning.
It's just names we give.
It's faith in
it's names we give stuff that we can't explain.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in
trying to
actuality,
figure it all out.
yeah, in actuality, there's no days and there's no nights. It's simply the earth facing the sun and then turning away from the sun.
But then what is this that make us think that we went to bed one night and got up another day? Ain't no such thing as that. I went to bed and woke up tired. For what? Trying to run around the world to keep everything flat?
So if you look at it like this, if you look at it like this, if there is no actual days, there are no actual months, there are no actual weeks, we are already outside of time.
Now you see how effective alcohol is now. You drink and you think you stay in one spot. You ain't staying in one spot. You just drunk and just don't know.
But I do have the answer to the whole thing. And Dad,
Oh,
you
there
say,
you go.
and you say it all the time. It's all just a story.
It is.
It is a story.
It is.
All is
It
just
is.
a story.
We've given language to try to explain what it is we're experiencing. But what we're experiencing is outside of time.
Here's
What
another.
we're experiencing is already in eternity. What we're experiencing is already inside the mind of God.
Now here's the good one. We, the mind, is dreaming that we are separated from God even before being born again. And then being born again, we still go around talking about the man upstairs, and he's supposed to be in us, born again. But we talk about him like he ain't never had nothing, not done anything for us, to us. And we just be running out, flipping our mouth, talking outside our neck, out the bottom of my shoe. We really don't know what we're saying. It would be better to just leave it alone. It would be, because we're not. You're gonna make yourself out of a lie. You say I was at home. Well, you might be over in California now, because the earth may done turn over to that side, and California may be down up under the other side of us.
Now that does make a good point. Is there really a west or an east when it's constantly
east, west, south, and north? I wonder.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
If you go back to just look at that. If you go east as far as you can, you're gonna end up right back where you were. So there's no such thing.
I'm just gonna go to bed and not even be disturbed by it, because if it flips over my bed, go down on top of my head, I know something done stopped. Because if the world stopped, you're gonna be upside down in the bed, and the bed will be on top of you sleeping. So now the gravity is playing this part of making us, through the illusion of this dream world, making us think that we still in the same place we were in before we went to bed. It's not. It's turning. It's moving. The bed just got more toehold on the floor than it is in the sky. Why you looking? You looking at me like that? I'm telling you the truth. I'm working physics and science. That's what we're doing. That's right. So when you bat your eye, you know, I be push and your eyelid went down, it might have went up for your eyes to be open. Then when your eyes closed, it done popped out the other side. So you really just have to take it like you know it. It's a dream. It's a story. It is a truth, unknown, untold truth that we can never explain. But we do know one thing: something is here and something is out there, visible or invisible, that's working this thing, that's making it do what it's doing. It's got to be something divine making this thing stay up in the sky, up in space, and they ain't dropped yet. You throw something out the window, you think it's gonna go down, hit the ground. Something is pulling it down to the earth, but yet on the other side, somebody just dropped something and it may be coming on your side to pop you upside the head.
Let me ask y'all this question. Dad, he having a ball today, isn't he? But based off of all what we have learned, and I'll say scripture and experiences, because as y'all was talking, I just thought about the watchers. All right. So now, who's to say, in the mind of God, as vast as, I don't even want to say universe, his mind is. And if we come to this understanding of the universe, could he have established watchers to watch over different systems of creation And what a lot of ancient writers who wrote scrolls or wrote down experiences that they have, did they actually have the encounter with the I am, or did they have an encounter with
The
an
watcher.
watcher?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's another what if.
Exactly.
What
Because
if they actually encountered the watchers instead of encountering God itself?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Because then we could talk about the book of Enoch and how he was considered to be the liaison between the watchers and man.
Mm-hmm.
And so he traveled in the I won't even say, I can say spirit or the supernatural. He
Yeah.
traveled. He had all these encounters. He saw pretty much what was in heaven, according to the writings. And then, of course, we find Genesis chapter 6, which Enoch, the book of Enoch, actually explains.
What does it say?
In Genesis 6, where it talks about that the sons of God slept or married the daughters of man.
Oh yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how we got the demigods. And see, it don't say demigod, it says giants. But the reason why I say demigod, because if angels had the ability to actually mate with daughters of men, and we had new beings, they would have had to been considered to be demigods.
Yes. Now I have to admit that what we are talking about right now, even though it is spirit, it's a condensed version of spirit.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Because there is the progression into that world of spirit where there is no longer form. There is a where there is a destination where there is no longer any form.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about the ancients and we talk about all of the the watchers and the ancients, and Ezekiel 8, and let me read that right quick. In Ezekiel 8 and 12, it says, then he said unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, the Lord seeth us not, and the Lord has forsaken the earth. So here we are, man has within himself, mankind has within himself a chamber of imagery, a place, an internal movie theater where he imagines things into existence.
Mm-hmm.
And the ancients of the Israel are the ones that were monitoring that. So you have the watchers, and then you have the ancients.
Mm-hmm. Now it's funny how you read this particular scripture and you mentioned the ancients of the house of Israel. So now, especially with all that's going on right now, we actually, when it comes to Christianity, we actually focus on the writings of the Israelites,
Yes, we
all
do.
that came from
Yeah,
Israel.
it's the Judaic religion.
So now,
Mhm.
just like you presented concerning the universe and all the planets and the galaxies, whatever, why have we accepted just writings or the experiences of those that are connected to the nation of Israel, or however you want to put it, their beliefs, whatever, when we know there was life on not just just on this planet at the exact same time,
Mhm.
and there are those that are having spiritual or supernatural encounters as well,
Yeah.
and we reject their writings and their experiences, but for some reason we accept all the, because everything. And I noticed that when I read in the scriptures, when we do scripture readings and stuff, before when we on the prayer line, and then I'm watching all the stuff with Israel and Gaza, that's all writings concerning just that one. So why do we feel as though all the other writings are not true and this is the only accepted one? When they come, if we honestly be open in our mind, there had to be other
texts,
writings, experiences from other ancient writers other than the house, like you read, the house of Israel.
Yeah, and there were. There's the Nag Hammadi. There's yes, the Avad Gita. I can't say those words good. The Bhagavad Gita. Then you have the Urantia. There's so many sacred texts, ancient writings, and for anyone to just pick one and say this is the absolute truth, you know, it makes you kind of wonder, like, okay, why did they settle on just that one? But I have noticed this, Pastor Norman, and I haven't studied all of them, but I have noticed that in every one that I have looked at, even just briefly, there is a common thread in all of them.
And that's what I was getting ready to say.
And that common thread is to draw mankind to the life of love.
Exactly.
Loving one another. That's the common thread through every last one of them. Now, the doctrines may differ. The stories may differ, but the principles in every last one of them, the commonality is the life of love.
Because every one of those different sacred writings that I have studied, like you said, they all have the exact same message. Love, how we are to be towards one another. And even if you want to bring up, like in Scripture, in the Old Testament, where God gave the orders for them to Israel to destroy certain nations or whatever and so forth. Exact thing in the other writings as well. And so the reason why I mentioned it, what is it that is causing us to accept one over the other when they actually have the exact same message?
Well, I wonder if we would have accepted it if it hadn't been presented to us based on where we're living. In other words, had we been born in another culture, would we have accepted this? Had we been born in India, for instance, we may have accepted Hinduism. So because of where we were born, we were introduced to the religion of that area and that culture. And so, yes, we have pretty much said that this is the only way, this is the only book that we should recognize, but there are so many ancient texts that came way before those scrolls.
Exactly. Even like we talked about over and over before about how the King James is a derivative of the original Catholic Bible.
Now, I have to admit that when we talk like this, those who have based their entire lives on the Bible and the scriptures, and that being the only word of God, this will shake them.
It will.
It will shake them. So I'm not going to go into it too far because I know it's shaking some already.
Yeah, it is. I do know that when I reinvestigate the African sect,
the Ethiopian Bible.
The Ark of Covenant for Israel and the Ark of Covenant in Africa is totally different. Now they saying they discovered it over there in Israel where Jesus, right up on the way up the cross was. Then they turned around and said, yeah, well, they moved it in the desert. But now we're finding out in research that the Ark of Covenant is in Africa, locked up, closed up in a certain building. And they don't allow anybody to go in there to see it. Now, which one is what?
So there are many questions.
Many
areas of doubt, many areas where we should question the validity of the things we've been told.
I never thought it was a black Bible and a King James and different Bibles that everybody believe is the original thing. It couldn't be all of them the original. because it's been so long. It's been passed down through many moons and changes, and the mind them went in there and set things up. I didn't know there was a Bible that was created back in the slavery time that give the slave owners the right to act like God toward the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till after I got into this thing.
Yeah.
And just to to reiterate what Mom just said, it's funny because again, the mind. No one is debunking anything. What we're saying is when it comes to really wanting to have the desire, well, it's not even a want, but understanding that we're not truly separate, we're one. Again, we're just saying that it would be beneficial if you would research, if you would continue to allow yourself to be open and educated, because even like, again, in order for us, and I'm just using for example, because this is the predominant book that we use in the Western world is the King James Bible, but it came through several translations, even
whole lot.
James. You see what I'm saying? And then he had his cardinals or bishops and stuff.
Yeah.
He was wanting to learn and whatever, and they did what they did and collaborated. And then even after King James, there were more, several more translations that was a derivative of that. And so the thing is, what I want to present, why are we accepting just the King James and you have not even studied the history behind it?
That's right.
And it's because we want to be certain. It's difficult for the finite mind, the human mind, I'll say. It's difficult for the human mind to not be sure. I want to be sure that when I die, I'm going to this certain place. I want to be sure that I'm going to be accepted and I'm going to end up in heaven. I want to be sure that God is actually existent and is on my side and here to help me. I want to be sure of those things. So when we start questioning a lot of the stuff that's been taught to us, then that certainty starts to shake. And humans want to feel secure. And so that's why we'll grab something and say, this is the absolute truth. And it may not be, but it's what makes us feel secure.
Exactly.
If the priest has got the original translation of the book, why haven't they released it like the Epstein's file they're talking about in our politics? What is it in there that they're trying to hide? Why didn't they give us the original translation, the ye yow and the ye yow yo and dust in the King James version? That ain't no worth for fat babies, but just saying ye yow, yes, ye and they and them. What is really in the original? What did it say in the Hebrew and Greek? What does it say? It's all kinds of translation. So we can't just pin ourselves down to one page and say this is all of it.
So that tells me that context is better than content. So I can have content, I can have what I think is true and hold on to that particular thing. But if I take it out of context, in other words, it may not be what that was really meant. The way I interpreted it may not be the way it was meant. And so it's more important to have the right context than to have the content.
And going back to what Dad was saying, one of the things that I know for a fact, there is a lot of things that are hidden that they're keeping it. And the reason why they do that, because the ones that are aware of these hidden truths that they have not exposed it to the world, it makes them feel like they have the upper hand, that they're more powerful, they have more authority, or they have more control. Because I know something you don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like the paternity court. They come on, them women be swearing, he's the dad. Then when they take the blood work, they find out he ain't the daddy. And then he gonna stood up and say, I know I ain't the daddy. And the mama say, yes, you are the daddy. And they take the blood work. He ain't the daddy. And then come to find out, she don't even know who the daddy was. She's been with so many men. Now, how can we just jump up and say, I won't take the Living Bible. I won't take the Old Testament. I'll just take the King James Version. What gives you the idea that that version, either one of them is on target?
Well, and the truth is, we've already said this before, that none of these sacred texts are infallible and have absolutely no inaccuracies in them.
Mm.
All of them were done so many millions of years ago. In most cases, actually the Bible is the newest version
Exactly.
of the sacred writings. So it's only 2,000 some years old. So
It's not even the oldest religion.
it's not. We're not the only civilization. There have been many civilizations on this earth, because the earth is billions of years old. There have been civilizations that have been on this earth and died out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put it like this. I know good well I didn't come from Africa. And I know good well I didn't start
Where
off
did you come from?
as a caveman.
Where did you come from?
Where did I come from?
Yeah,
Heaven.
Where did you
I came from heaven, and my body is the illusion that I came out of my mom and daddy. That's the illusion of the body. But my real self always existed before the foundation of the world. So before my mama had me, I chose them on the other side to give birth to a body that I was going to eventually believe it was the real me.
And they chose to give it.
They did, but it ain't me.
So, John, I like what you're saying. He said, who told you you were naked?
My mama told me I was. I was sitting there with my butt out. I know.
Don't instigate this man. Oh my Lord.
You see, that's what John did. He ain't gonna give the theological answer to that.
See, when she smacked me on the butt, when they smacked me on the butt, they should have smacked her when I was born. Said, what would you get this thing from? What is this? I all I know is that I came from somewhere physically, but then when I researched it, well, that's all right. I'll be hatched, but it ain't got no reflection on my true identity.
So now, I want to present a question, and before y'all give the answer, I'm going to elaborate with a part of my journey. All right, and I want people to hear this because we talk about the writings and the sacred text. Before y'all answer, I'm explain why. Our experiences should outweigh what is written.
Yeah.
So now let me explain why I said that.
Okay.
I don't have the story like so many other people. And again, it don't make me no more special than anyone else. All right. I wasn't raised in a very religious home. We went to church. I don't have the testimony like, my daddy was a preacher, or my grandfather, or my uncle was I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. I came up, it wasn't a big thing for us to go to church until I moved to the South. Because again, I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey. We went every now and then, the blue moon, especially Easter, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So now when I move here, I am part of an organization. I don't want to put the name out there, part of this denomination, this organization, where they did not teach concerning the move of the Spirit of God, the Holy Ghost, the gifts of the Spirit, the fire. They taught none of that. They gave a sermon. They gave the benediction. We went home. That was it. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden, I start having these experiences and these thoughts that I would present to my mom. And my mom was looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Why are you asking me these crazy questions? All right. Because I was like, Mom, you ever feel like you're not from here? I was yeah, shit, looking at me, where's this coming from? So again, so now I have this experience with what we say God at the age of 15. I never knew anything about speaking in tongues. Okay. Knew nothing. They didn't preach it. They didn't teach it. So now if I never read about it in the Bible, but I experienced before I even had the knowledge of its writing about it, does not my experience with God outweigh with the writings?
I want to say it supersedes the writings. It outweighs it in the sense that it connected you in a way that a writing couldn't. When we read, or when we even listen to others speak, what we're doing is retaining things with memory. And while that's valuable, it will give you no power whatsoever. It is just information. And the only time you have any real power, or I don't know if I want to use the word power, any activation of your own divinity is when you've had an experience.
Exactly.
So in that regard, yes, it overrides the written.
And I brought that up because that's the thing that I I want people to understand. Because we're not debunking nothing.
No.
But when are you going to have your own experience separate from what we would say the graph or the writing?
Or even what
we're making that God versus who God really is.
And when are you going to have an original experience, and not one that somebody tells you that you should have?
Exactly.
And then you go off seeking that because they said you had to have it. That's not genuine either.
Because I mean, I could use Dad for example, based off because we've and it's been consistent. Every experience that he has shared with us throughout the years, other groups of people would not be able to receive what he's saying. They would literally think he making it up or whatever stuff. But how can you say that? And it's all because, again, you have a closed mind because you're making the book itself. I ain't say it's not, if it's true or not, whatever, but you're making the book have more weight than someone's experience with the divine.
And what you're saying, Pastor Norm, is a lot of people, unfortunately, Christians, who are in the circle that we're talking about now, where the gifts of the Spirit are prevalent and they hearing the voice of God and prophecy and all of this, the ones in that particular arena tend to think that, oh, I won't say think, they tend to have an allegiance and a relationship with the book, but they have very little relationship with the actual being or entity that we call God.
Exactly.
And they base everything on the book. And then a lot of times that pushes a distance between what they, I won't say distance, it prevents them from being able to have an actual genuine encounter with God.
If you notice,
go ahead.
For the last 50 years you've been around me, I can tell you the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
That's the same thing that happened and the same event, that just in more detail, I've learned more about it. But it's the same thing. If I was telling a story out of a book, I'd have to go get the book and read up on it and make sure I say it like I said. I don't have to read no book. It's what happened to me. It's the event that actually took place.
And in our case, and I think it's the same thing in your case as well, Pastor Norman, and I think with a lot of us particularly those who are listening to us, you have had those spiritual experiences and then maybe gone back and had some of it confirmed through scripture.
That's right.
Exactly. That's the point I was making. Because like what Dad just said just now, immediately Paul makes the statement in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. I was caught up in the third heaven.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And he heard things that it was not permissible for him to share on this side. He know if he was in the body, out of the body, but he knew he had an experience. Now, why is that so awesome? Was because we got to remember on Damascus, he had that experience
Yes.
that
Yes.
forever changed his life.
Yes.
So now
Yes.
he knew the book.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
he was doing, he thought he was doing it right
Yeah.
until he had that encounter.
Now, in my case, I couldn't read.
What he was educated in.
In my case, I couldn't read all that stuff in the book.
Mm-hmm. So you had
So
that
I
experience.
had an experience that
Taught you how to
taught
read.
me how to read.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I didn't know nothing about the book. I didn't know nothing about speaking no tongue that I got around them crazy folks doing
But
that.
I think that, and we're touching on something. We're touching on something that's really crucial in the church now, because there are so many people, and in the Judaic religion, they did not allow a novice to even get these mystical experiences.
That's right.
Have the mystical advanced teachings. But unfortunately, people have gotten a hold of a lot of them, and if they're already unstable mentally, then or emotionally, it can take them into the wrong. It can take them off, run them off the deep end. Deep end. A person who is mentally ill, saying that they're hearing the voice of God, not knowing the nature of their own mind, that can be an impostor of God, will be given words that they think is from God, and it won't be from God at all.
Am I disturbed?
Sometimes, but
Oh,
I think in the process of that happening,
you better watch it.
ministers,
She put that white coat on you.
yes, I didn't have to say.
well, she
Anyway,
melted me, so that's why I'm like that.
but I think because of that, some pastors have been afraid to allow people the freedom to have the experience
I'm
first,
scared of you.
because they're trying to keep people from having that mental health crisis, because there are so many who have that. And they're saying God is speaking to them, and God is this and God is that, and a lot of it is the imposter.
She said,
I like that. I love how you said that, because I've seen that a lot. Right? We witnessed that, and I would have them. Okay, if that is God, but you said this is the book that governs your life. This is what you just said, and an experience you said that you had don't even line up.
And that's the other thing, Pastor Norman, we've noticed that people in the arena that we're talking about, where they talk about the gifts of the Spirit and ministering and all of this stuff, and having and speaking in tongues, all of those kinds of things, we've noticed that those people tend to want to have supernatural phenomena 24/7.
Exactly.
And that's not the norm.
Not the norm.
It's not the norm. And so it's gotten to a point where if a person is going to know God, it's going to have to be apart from phenomena, but at the same time, the phenomena comes by grace, like you said, to teach you how to read, because you didn't know how to read at that point, and to give you that experience of speaking in tongues, so that you can actually be the one who teaches that. And you're teaching it from a place of authenticity. You're not teaching because you read it or somebody told you that. You experienced it.
So based on what you just said, if because I'm hearing the word, there must be a balance between the natural and the supernatural. Because if you experience too much of one, it can have that effect.
Yeah. So now, this is just me, for me now, and I'm not talking about anybody else has to follow this. I have done my best to have a nonverbal relationship with them, because I know how tricky the imposter is. And when I'm not talking about a devil separate and apart from me, we said this on Sunday, that the devil and the Lord both live in the same head in between these two ears. And so the voice in the head sometimes is an imposter of God. So even in that case, knowing that, you should not trust everything that comes through your mind that you think is God, just because it made you feel a certain way. Some people say if it's God, it'll bring you peace. That's not necessarily true.
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure that when Jesus found out he had to go to the cross, he didn't have no peace. but yet it was what God wanted for him.
Mhm.
So there does not always be peace because this is God's direction. I'm going to have peace for that. So we've used too many things that are not, they're not going to be proof producers. They can't prove that this is God speaking to me. So we should even question our own mind. We should question what comes to us. And sometimes I think I question it too much, but we should question it because sometimes it's coming from the imposter.
Mhm.
That voice in the head that wants to be God so bad, that ego that wants to be God so bad.
Mhm. And that brought me. You reminded me again what happened in the service that I was the minister at that evening. Why? What would be the necessity for me to come behind? You know what I'm saying? The God when everybody was listening like I was listening. Father had already spoken. What is your response?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm gonna come back. That would have just been my ego.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Wow, wow, wow.
This was a science class today.
It was a science class.
This was good today.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was good or not. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about how in the world, how in the ham sandwich can we even set ourselves up as experts?
John Greason, who told you that you were naked? But when I was naked running through the house, a little boy, I liked to run around naked because it felt I was free and the wind and cool air and all the house. It was just right. I looked like a real king when I was running around through the house with no breeches on.
We all did that. As a little kid.
Well, you don't do it now.
I do. I used to. I'm at home. I can.
Leslie, we're getting ready to take off here, young lady. I'm glad to see you popped in.
Did we got your mail today, Leslie?
So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this today. We kind of talked about, like you said, it was a little science class, but it makes sense to
physics and science.
Yeah, it wasn't so much to talk about science, but it was to show just how finite our minds are, and for us to even come to the point of saying, I know I got it all together. I know what God is doing. I know what God is saying. I understand God. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you do not. There is so much more for us to experience and so much more for us to discover. And my prayer is that you will be able to do that without having mental health issues. A lot of people who get in the mystical areas, like I said, if they don't have stability already, it can send them up over the deep end. And that's what I think a lot of pastors have been afraid of. And so they snuff it out and not allow people to grow in that area. But you got to grow, and it's okay. It's right. Okay. Thank you, John. He said, hit the like button, the love button.
Like love button. Yes, yes.
Yeah, we're going to come back on Sunday, and we'll be back live and in color. Pastor Norman, thank you so much for spending this time with us and talking.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, young man, for injecting some humor.
That's the way I was made.
That's the way you made. He's a mess. He's a mess. What we gonna do with you?
Make more mess out of me.
We'll hope to see you on Sunday. We'll be back at 10 on Sunday, and Pastor Norm will be back on Sunday at 9 on
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Yes. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Y'all have a great one.